Okay. Snehal Mani, you can start with your presentation.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. Please turn your camera.
Yes, sir. So now I'm sharing my screen. So is my screen visible here?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. I'm Snehal Mane from Java Developers Group, and my today's presentation is about plotting line charts with moving averages and volume indicator for Bank of Baroda stock data under stock trading application project. Now let's talk about what we are talking about in this presentation. Introduction of presentation, data visualization through line chart, implementation of code, live demonstration, advantages of visualizing data graphically, and then conclusion. So let us assume that we have so much amount of data present with us, and we have to analyze and calculate it according to our needs. But if we have to analyze and calculate it, first we have to understand it better and visualize it better. So we will use many tools like visualization graphical tools such as pie chart, bar chart, and also line chart for visualizing our data. This is very important for us because it will show the companies, let's say companies progress, uh, uh, such as investors and analysts and financial experts will have to understand it better for understanding the trends, patterns, and potential risks or opportunities of the market. So, in this presentation, I will be using a line chart. A line chart is a common type of graph used to present data points. And in this line chart, I'm going to present a stock data of Bank of Baroda of moving averages and volume indicator. So here is the implementation of the code. Here I have used many of the libraries for displaying the chart, and I also read the CSV data of Bank of Baroda. So here is my, so let's move towards our live demonstration. So is my screen visible to you?
Yes, it is visible.
So here is my line of code, sir. First, I will show you the stock data. Here is the CSV stock data. It contains 1700 entries with the time series. We have the close and volume column, high, low, open, date. All this are present in this data. And in this code, we will use close and a close volume and a close and volume column for our code to find the average of it. I have imported many of the libraries of the JFree chart for displaying the chart of both the uh, data sets. And here is the, in this main method, I have read the data and parsed it. And in next method, we can see that it is calculating the moving average for closing price and also the moving average for volume. In the next method, we can see that it is combining the both the line charts. And here is our exception. If file is not found or there is some error in the code, so it will show an exception for it. Now next is, it will combine both the charts in this method. We can see that here is the first headline for it, that is moving average for Bank of Baroda, and next is the volume indicator of the Bank of Baroda. Here is the, if we want to change the color of the line, we can change by using this code. We can use the desired color if we want. And here is here is the code for the displaying the chart. So now let's see. Our output. We will see our output in the second. It will take time. It will build first output. Here we can see that the code is compiled here. Here is the output of our code. We can see that moving averages of Bank of Baroda. Here is the date coming, moving averages are here, and here is the volume indicator for Bank of Baroda. We can see that. And if we want to change the color, we can change it from here also, that I have presented earlier in this. So I'm going to change it to blue. Now let's rerun it. Is my screen visible, sir?
No, it is not visible.
Oh, okay, sir. I was giving you the output of this. I have to change my window first. I will change the window first so that you can see the output that I have changed. So here is our output. I have changed my color. Can you see the output, sir?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, sir. So this was our output. Now let's move towards our presentation again. So here was our live demonstration, and we have seen the advantages of it. We can clearly represent the data trends and patterns in this, as we have given the closing column and volume column. There is so much of numerical data, as we can see in that. It is very difficult for us to understand and calculate it. So it has made for us, it has made easy to calculate the moving averages, the averages of the whole 1700 entries, and it has also visualized it better. So here is the advantages of it. So it was a time series data where the values are recorded at the regular interval of time, and we have given the variables of time and the closing price and the volume indicator. So it is very useful for us. So now we can conclude that the line chart has allowed us to visualize the historical price performance of Bank of Baroda stock and enabling us to observe the many of the numerical values in the chart form. So in this overall presentation, we can see the power of graphical visualization also. And for our stock trading application, it is very useful for us so that our customers can see it properly and understand understand the stocks better and very well. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you.
Okay, give me a second. Yeah. Okay, see, your presentation was okay for hook and story. It was above average. I would say it was better than other people, but there is no improvement from last time. Okay, the thing is, your story was better this time. Okay, you did work on that. Your explanation was okay, but it was lacking somewhere because I believe you rushed the output when you were explaining the outputs of your demonstration. You quite rushed it. That was not quite well explained, so work on that part. And also you didn't really quite touch on the data analysis part, because I believe you were told to do data analysis and you can use Apache Common CSV or Open CSV libraries, right? And extract the relevant column and closing prices and volume. So that you did show us in the demonstration. That is good. And again, line chart was also there, but did you export it as an image, the line chart?
Sir, because on the first thing is that I have to change the window for it. So I have cleared the image and pasted in the with the code so that you can see the output first. And after that, I have changed. So for this, I have changed the output so you can see that also.
No, no, I'm not asking about that. I'm asking, did you deliberately get the output in as a image file, or you can get output in different format also?
Sir, I can get it in different output also, as I
You
have
chose
also
to
changed
get
it.
an image format, right?
Yes, sir. I have also, so it will be easy for me to explain. So that's why I have put the image of the output also.
Okay, sure, no issues. But the image will not be like, interactive. So let us say if I
Okay.
want to zoom in, because there are a lot of data points, right? So if I want to
Mhm,
zoom in or get much insight on it, that will not be possible, right? So
mhm,
try to get in your data in a output in a different format also. That will be good. And you were also told for the volume indicator, there was a
mhm.
separate line chart. So that you did show us the line chart, but did you try the bar chart also?
Sir, I have given the task for the line chart only.
I believe it says you can use bar chart or a separate line chart to display the volume. So I'm just asking, you did show me the line chart, but did you try the bar chart? I'm just saying if you have tried it or not.
No, sir, I have only tried the line chart of it.
Okay, no issue. It was then completely optional. I was just asking. Okay.
Mhm,
So I would say just to work on explaining the outputs. Okay, that was not quite clear from your side. You were not able to
mhm,
explain the outputs clearly, like what you understood from the analysis part as well as like what you are showing. So that was quite rushed, I would say. Okay. And also work on your overall presentation skills so that overall presentation goes smoothly. There is like, you don't have to wait for getting an output and something. Okay, so that will be fine. You see, you can improve a lot. Okay, you have a good skill of who can presentation. Just improve on your overall content, then you will perform much better. Okay,
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
yeah, thank you, Snehal. So we'll move on to Shailja. Shailja, can you tell me your email and the name of your task?
Yes, 2020 CSP
Okay,
11
24. Is that it?
24. Yes,
And is your task overview of project synopsis?
yes. Sir.
Okay, please turn your camera and share the screen.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Shailja Nigam from IIT Roadford, and today I'm going to present on my task, which is real-time stock market data web application. So first, let's see the task description. So the task name is overview of the project synopsis, and task description is the real-time stock market data web application is a full stack web application that allows investors to track real-time stock market data in an easy to understand format. The web application pulls real-time stock market data from APIs and displays stock prices, volume, market trends, and other information that investors need to track their investments. The web application has features such as authentication and security to ensure that user data is protected. So now we can move towards to the index. So first it is introduction and then key features of the project. After that, tools and techniques which are used in this project, and then workflow of the project and challenges and deliverables, and at last conclusion. Now let's see the introduction. So a project is a full stack web application of the stock market. It allows users to track real-time market data in a comprehensible format. It provides up-to-date information on stock prices, volume, market trends, and other relevant data, which are retrieved from APIs. The application prioritizes user security and privacy, and it incorporating features like users authentication and robust security measures to safeguard sensitive information. Now let's see the key features of the project. First, real-time stock market data. So the web application pulls real-time stock market data from APIs and displays stocks, prices, volume, market trends, and other information. And second one is user authentication and security. Web application has features such as authentication and security to ensure that user data is protected. After that, it is easy to understand format. The web application displays stock market data in an easy to understand format, make it easier to investors to track their investments. At last, responsive design. The web application is designed to be responsive, making it easy to use on different devices. After that, let's see the tools and techniques. So tools and techniques, first it contains front end part in which I use HTML, CSS, JavaScript and React.js. After that, let's move forward to the backend part. In that I use Node.js, Express.js and MongoDB for storing data. I use MongoDB. After that, let's see APIs. We use most the trustful APIs like Alpha Vantage API and News API. Now discuss all of them deeply. So HTML used for creating the structure of web design, page layouts, tags and attributes. After that, while CSS is used for designing, styling and decorating the web pages and help to achieve through responsive web design techniques. And third one is JavaScript. So it allows user to interact with web pages. It allows us to add dynamic behavior to the web pages and add social effects to the web page to add interactive elements that engage users. Without JavaScript, 90% of the internet web pages are static if JavaScript is not there. Now let's see the last tool, which is React.js. So React.js lets build rich user interfaces easily, and it is an open source JavaScript framework and used for building interactive user interfaces and web application quickly and efficiently with significantly less code that you would do with JavaScript. Now after that, let's see the backend part. So Node.js, firstly I use Node.js, which is the fast parallel processing real-time queries is Node.js strongest suit. Node.js, however, is only effective for a small application with the same few requests. Thus, there is restriction on the overall size of the program. Next, Express.js, it makes it possible to easily manage heavily traffic, and Express.js is incredibly versatile and can be used to create a variety of online applications from straightforward websites to complicated APIs. After that, MongoDB is mainly used for storing data. It is used as a database and it is a database manager. It facilitates storing nested data that can be used to store extensive data patterns inside the same documents. The facility is retrieving and using data. After that, let's see the tools and techniques, APIs. So APIs are used to integrate new applications with existing software system. This increases development speed because each functionality does not have to be written from scratch. API are used to integrate new application with existing software system. This increases development speed because each functionality does not have to be written from scratch. So first one, I use Alpha Vantage API. So Alpha Vantage API, there are several Alpha Vantage API offers a wide range of functionalities. It contains various functionalities like stock market data, cryptocurrency data, technical indicators, fundamental data, forex data, and time series analysis. Now let's see the second one, which is News API. So News API is a service that provides access to a wide range of news articles and headlines from various sources from worldwide. It allows developers and businesses to integrate news content into their application, websites, or services. The News API aggregates news articles and headlines from a diverse set of sources, including major news organizations, online publishers, blogs, and more. It provides a unified interface to retrieve news content in a standardized format. And here are some functionalities of the News API, in which first one is news sources, second one is search and filtering, third one is article metadata, fourth one is categorization and tags, and fifth one is historical data. Now let's see after the APIs workflow of the project. So now we can see at first we interact with the home page, authentication page, then fill your credentials. If not, then one should go for sign up and create his her own account. After that, a verification mail has to be sent to his her Gmail account, then she would be able to log in. After that, the investor go for search box and type company name, press search button API, and API server receives the request and processes it. So API server fetches the requested data and from its database or real-time data sources. Only the API server processes the request and retrieves the request data. It formulates a response. The server-side function receives the API response from the Alpha Vantage API and formulates a response to send back to the front end of the web application. And collected data visualization occurs in a various patterns on front end. After that, let's see the challenges of the project. So the main first challenges of the project will to be pull real-time stock market data from APIs and display it in easy to understand format. After that, another challenge will be to implement user authentication and security features to protect user data. After that, let's see the deliverables: a fully functional real-time stock market data web application, and second one is documentation outlining the design and development of the project, and third one is presentation showcase. After that, let's see the conclusion of the project. The real-time stock market data web application is an essential tool for investors who want to track their investments in real time. The application will provide an easy to understand format that displays stock market data and other essential information to investors. The web application will be developed using the various web technologies such as React.js, Node.js, MongoDB, making it a valuable addition to any full stack web app developer's portfolio. So, thank you. And anybody have any questions, then you can ask. After that,
Yeah, sure. You are still going on?
yes, sir. After that, there is a documentation.
Your screen is not visible actually for the documentation. I believe you need to share again. Now this is.
So this is the documentation of our code, which of real-time stock market data web application. So first, let's see the front-end part. So front-end part, which mainly the user interface and interaction. It allows user to view and interact with the stock market data in a visually appealing and intuitive manner. So the front end here is built using the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js. As I told earlier, HTML provides the structure and content of web application. It defines the layout of the page, like headers, menus, forms, tables, and other elements. Now, whereas CSS is used for styling the website, and after that, JavaScript is responsible for adding interactivity and dynamic behavior to the web application. And after that, React.js is a JavaScript library for building user interface. It allows for creating a reusable UI component that can be composed together to form the application user interface. And the React.js a virtual DOM to efficiently update and render components, resulting in a smooth and responsive user experience. Now, move to the second part, which is backend. So backend of the real-time stock market data web application handles data processing, APIs, request, and database management. It acts as an intermediary between the front-end and external APIs to fetch and manipulate data. So the backend is mainly built using the Node.js, Express.js, and MongoDB as a database. So let's see Node.js. Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment that allows developers to run JavaScript on the server side. It provides us the rich ecosystem modules and packages that facilitates building scalable and efficient web application. Next one is Express.js. Express is a popular web application framework for Node.js. It simplifies the process of building robust and scalable web APIs. Next, Express providing routing capabilities, middleware support, and enables easy integration with database and external APIs. Now let's see the MongoDB. MongoDB is a NoSQL document database that offers flexibility and scalability. It stores data in JSON-like documents, allowing for dynamic and schema-less data structures, in which we don't have to form schema for that. So MongoDB is a well suited for handling large volume of data and provides powerful querying and indexing capabilities. Now let's move forward to the APIs. So two APIs are used in this project. First one is Alpha Vantage and second one is News API. So Alpha Vantage is a powerful API that provides real-time and historical stock market data. It offers various endpoints including stock weights, retrieval real-time stock weights for a specific symbol or multiple symbols, time series data, access historical stock market data. By this we can access the historical data of the stocks such as daily, weekly, or monthly time series. So next one is technical indicators. Calculate technical indicators like moving averages, MACD, RSI, and more. So third one is fundamental data. Retrieve fundamental data for companies, including balance sheets. We can see balance sheets and income statements and cash flow statement also. Next one is forex data. It can access foreign exchange rates and currency conversion. To use the Alpha Vantage API, you need to first obtain an API key by signing up to their website. The API key should be included in the request for the authentication. So next API here used is News API. So News API allows developers to fetch news articles and headlines from various sources. So the new key features of the News API we can see here. First one is headlines. It retrieves top headlines from various sources or specific categories. And second one is search. So perform a keyword-based search to find news articles matching specific criteria. Third one is sources. Third feature is sources. So here it can access a list of available news sources and their details. And fourth one is pagination. To retrieve news articles and paginated results for efficient handling of large data sets. So similar to Alpha Vantage, the News API requires an API key for authentication. You can obtain the API key by creating an account on the News API website by integrating Alpha Vantage and News API into the real-time stuff. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope now your presentation and demonstration both are done, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, you have a really great content. Okay, the content was top quality, but the thing is, you need to work on your overall presentation skill. So you were mostly like reading from the slides, so that is not a good thing. You did try to explain. I could see that, and you were actually good at whatever part you explained. You were good at it. Okay, so try more to explain the parts. You had lot of text in your presentation. Try to reduce the amount of text that you have in your presentation. Okay. And second part is that overall flow of the presentation, you need to work on it. So you had a deliverable part in the PPT. So your demonstration of documentation should be after that point. And then you will come back to the presentation for the conclusion, because conclusion is like ending the presentation, right? So that it makes sense if it is in the very end, right? So work on that part. And other than that, see your overall content of documentation can be improved, because in the documentation itself, I can see that lot of information that you have already told us in the presentation was included. Okay, your documentation needs to be more in depth, right? So that it is covering like small, minimal features also. So let us say in a stock market application, there will be charts, right? So how many charts there will be on the front end, on the front page, what chart you will show when user will click on some kind of part, what chart you will show there, as well as what information you will show. You need to be deeply in depth and specific about those functionalities of your application in the overall documentation. It is okay if you are doing a high level overview of project when it comes to the presentation, but in the document itself, it needs to be more in depth. So work on that part also. I believe this was your first presentation, right?
Second presentation.
Yeah, sure. See, if this was the second presentation, then it is okay. Okay, so 1 and 2 presentation is fine, but for next presentation, I want improvement. Okay, and also try to give presentation in a presentation view. Okay, in a slideshow view. What you can do is in the slideshow view, you can add notes in the add notes area, so that when you are giving presentation, you can, if you want, you can read from that from there, take help from there. But it doesn't look like that you have a lot of text in your slide, because we will not be able to see the notes part, right? So see how the presentation are being done, see how what are the tips and tricks for that. You will improve a lot, okay? Because the content you have is content is great, okay? Just to work on your presentation skills.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shailja. So we'll move on to Varshita ji.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the name of your task?
Project timeline, sir.
Okay, you are in the start.
Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Varshita Ji from the Web Developer Group, presenting project timeline of the real-time stock market data web application. The overview. Firstly, we'll look at introduction, defining the basic terms associated with project timeline. Then we'll move on to project timeline document. Here we'll look at the tasks that are involved in the project. Then we'll look at Gantt chart, which is basically a representation of project timeline. Finally, we'll look at the conclusion. Introduction. So what is project timeline? It is a visual representation of the schedule of tasks. It can help one manage and track progress over time. Project timelines are typically represented using Gantt charts. Why do we need a project timeline? Firstly, it provides a visual representation of schedule of tasks, and this enhances the clarity and comprehension of the overall project timeline. Also, it serves as a valuable planning tool, helping one identify necessary tasks and allocate resources effectively. Also, it helps in time management, helping one meet project timelines and stay on track with the project. Also, it helps one make informed decisions and prioritize critical tasks as and when necessary. So what is Gantt chart? It is a visual project management tool that represents the project timeline as already told. It is in a form of horizontal bar chart format with tasks on the y-axis and the duration of tasks on the x-axis. Now let's look at the project timeline document. The overview. The project duration is of 2 months and the project is broken down into weekly tasks. Additionally, each week has 2 tasks to be dealt with. So we will be looking at a list of tasks, their brief description and estimated duration. Month 1. In the first week of month 1, we'll focus on understanding React.js. React.js is a popular JavaScript library used for building user interface components. So we'll be understanding its components, JSX syntax, and state management in React.js. We'll also be setting up the development environment by installing Node.js, creating a new React.js application, and setting up a basic file structure. Moving on to the second week, we'll focus on styling the application, the visual appearance of the application. So we'll be using technologies such as CSS and Sass to create a responsive design. This will make our web application adapt to the different screen sizes. Also, we'll be implementing user authentication using technologies such as JSON Web Tokens and Passport.js. Moving on to the third week, we'll focus on pulling data from APIs, especially the Alpha Vantage API. So we'll be understanding Alpha Vantage API through its documentation and use it to pull real-time stock market data. Also, we'll be displaying this data on the front end using React.js components in an easy-to-understand format. Moving on to the fourth and final week of month 1, we'll be focusing on adding some functionality to our web application. So we'll be adding search functionality. And this enables our users to search for specific stocks they are looking for. And finally, we'll be testing and debugging to make sure that the web application is stable after adding the search functionality as well. For this, we will be using test frameworks such as Jest and Enzyme. Moving on to the second week, second month. In the first week of second month, we'll be implementing data visualization. We'll be using charting libraries such as d3.js or tat.js to do this. So this will make our stock market data application data very appealing in the form of charts or graphs. Also, we'll be handling errors in edge cases such as incorrect user input or API errors. Moving on to the second week, we'll focus on building the backend of the application using Node.js and Express.js. Also, we'll be creating few APIs to handle user authentication, data retrieval, and data manipulation. Moving on to the third week, we'll focus on integrating news API. This API fetches the relevant news articles according to the preferred stock of the user. Then we will implement real-time updates using WebSockets to ensure that the data displayed is always up to date. Moving on to the fourth week, now that we have built our application, we'll focus on optimizing its performance. For that, we'll be using a strategy such as code splitting, which is basically breaking down the application into chunks so that the initial loading time is decreased. Then we will also do lazy loading. This is basically loading the components on demand. This also decreases the initial loading time. Then caching. This stores the frequently used data and increases the responsiveness of our web application. So these strategies help in overall performance of our application, speed and responsiveness. Finally, we'll be deploying the application to a web server such as Heroku or AWS. This will make the application accessible to the users worldwide. Moving back to the presentation. Let's now look at the Gantt chart that is going to be representing the project timeline. Here it is with tasks on the y-axis and the duration on the x-axis. As already stated, the duration is of 2 months with each month having 4 weeks in it. And in the first week of month 1, we'll be focusing on the 2 tasks, which is introduction to React.js and setting up the development environment. The estimated duration for the first task is around 5 days, followed by the next task, setting up the development environment. Then we'll move on to week 2, where we'll be styling the application for around 4 days and then implementing the user authentication for around next 3 days. Similarly, for the rest of the tasks across a span of 2 months. Let's look at conclusion. So in conclusion, we have seen the project timeline for real-time stock market data web application. The timeline is divided into 2 months with specific tasks assigned to each week within those months. Then by sticking to this project timeline, we can ensure efficient progress and successful completion of the real-time stock market data web application. These were the references used. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Okay, so I hope your presentation as well as demonstration is done, Varshita.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so first of all, good job on explaining the presentation. You explained it really well. Okay, but your story part can be improved. So it would have been great if you had like given some exposure on the previous tasks, such as over your project synopsis, which is a task like the parent task of this task, right? So that would have been good if you had started like given an overview of what is going on, and but functionalities were well explained. It can be in depth, but it is whatever is there, it is good enough. Okay, for now, it is above average, which is better than other people. Okay, but for next time, I want more in-depth content, right? So you can be more in-depth as well as the overall procedure. You can be more specific about that, because in the overall procedure, you can like be more specific, like at what stage we will be doing this. And also you can be like add testing process also in the testing process you have added, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can be more specific about that, because there are like different type of testing. We do testing of when the entire application is built, and as well we do testing when like some part are built. So you can be more specific on that, like at what stages which type of testing will be done, as well as like when are you expecting some kind of task to be completed, and if there is any kind of delay, then what you are planning to do, right? As
Yes.
well as like if let us say there is some issue and some task is not being able to complete, or some kind of task is like not implemented due to some reason, or you are not able to implement it, then what you are going to do. So that should be also like available in the presentation itself, not in the task, but these are the things that you need to include in the overall presentation. That will also improve your overall conclusion skills. Okay, so next time try to be more specific. It was good, but work on your story part. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Varshita. So we'll move on to Akhila.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell me your task name?
Task name.
Okay, project
Sir.
name.
Yes, sir.
You can start.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Panduga Akhila. I am from Web Developer Group. So, my project is real-time stock market data web application. So, in this presentation, I'm going to present you timeline of my project. So, let's go ahead. So, first, let's see what. So, in this presentation, I'm going to present you about like what is a project timeline, and then how we decide it, and what is Gantt chart, and the documentation. Finally, with Gantt chart and conclusion. And next, what is project timeline? So, project timeline is basically a roadmap for a project planning, execution, and monitoring. Like it shows us a visual representation of sequence of tasks of a project. And this timeline contains information like tasks, durations, milestones. Like from these project managers will able to understand the project progress and can communicate with the team leaders and stakeholders very well, which allows like they can schedule it very well. Then along with that, these project timeline can also be represented like different formats like Gantt chart or a simple calendar. So let's see how do we decide project timeline. So firstly, we have to define the project scope. In this, we have to define what are the project requirements and deliverables. So from that, we'll define what are our major tasks so that can be inserted in our timeline. And then break down tasks. So in this, we need to break down the tasks into smaller and manageable tasks. So such that these tasks should be achievable. And this process is called work breakdown structure. And then estimate task duration. So for that, we need to estimate the time required for completion of particular task, which can be done by consulting a subject expert or else by using industry standards. And then identifying milestones. So what are the major milestones we have to achieve in the project? And these milestones are the major deliverables. So
and then sequence task. So in this, we have to decide which task should be completed before the others, and then allocate buffer time. So in this, we need to make sure that when we working on a project, like we might be happen, there might be happen unexpected delays, issues, or some uncertainties. So to cover up that, we allocate some buffer time before, so that we can complete our project on time, and then monitor and adjust. So in this, we need to monitor the timeline, and we need to adjust if there is any delays or any new information. We need to adjust accordingly, and this allows us to track the project progress, and basically it allows to keep the project on track. So let's see what is Gantt chart. So basically Gantt chart is a like visual representation of a project sequences, tasks, and then these Gantt chart consists like horizontal bars that represent project tasks, and then it also contains, it was plotted against a time scale, typically in days, weeks, or months. And then this is a documentation link. Let's go to the documentation. So if you see, this is the documentation here. Is that
Yes, it is visible.
yes? Okay. So in this documentation, let's see firstly what are the requirements of our project. So in this, we need to pull real-time stock market data, and we have to display it in user-friendly manner. And then we have to implement user authentication and security. And along with that, the web app should be responsive. For that, we are going to use the following technology stack. So for the front end, we use HTML, JavaScript, CSS, SAS, and React.js. And for backend, Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB, and real-time stock market data, and the news API, which we can get news regarding the stock, and then data processing and analysis. So in this, we use pandas for data manipulation, and d3.js for our visualizations. And then authentication and security, we use JSON web tokens, and then SSCL or TSL certificates are used to get client server and web server. And then deployment, we can deploy it in Apache or Amazon Web Services. So let's see the tasks. So in this, we have 2 months duration. So first month and first week, we'll start working on React.js and JSS syntax. So coming to the key tasks for this week was to understand the components of React.js and also to learn the JSX syntax. And we need to explore different ways of managing states. And coming to the week 2, in week 2, we set up our development environment and we start working on application styles. So in this, the key task was we need to set up a basic file structure for our project, and we need to style our application, and along with we also implement user authentication using JSON web tokens. So in week 3, here we need to pull the real-time data from APIs and displace it in user-friendly manner in our front-end page. So for these, the key task for this week is we have to understand how Alpha Vantage API works and how to fetch real-time stock market data from it. And then we have to also learn how to handle API requests. So coming to week 4 of first month, like in these, we need to add search functionality to our applications and focus on testing and debugging. So coming to the key task for this week was to implement search functionality, and we also learn about testing frameworks like Jest and Enzyme. Then we have to test the application and debug. And coming to month 2, in first week, we will focus on implementing data visualizations. And here the key task for this week was use adding data visualization by d3.js libraries. And then we have to also handle error and edge cases. And coming to the week 2, in week 2, we'll shift our focus to building backend. And then coming to the key task for this week, we need to build the backend part, and also we need to set up routes and controllers to handle different API requests from the front end. So coming to the week 3, here we'll integrate the news API to our application. So the key task was integrating the news API and then implementing real-time updates. So coming to the week 4, in week 4, we we'll focus on optimizing the performance and we'll deploy it on web server. So these are all references for completion of our project. So coming back to our presentation. So this is the Gantt chart which I have prepared for this project. And in this Gantt chart is basically a visual representation of what I have explained in the documentation. If you see here left hand side, we can see the task. And if you see here bottom top, it was plotted against 2 months of time, which contains 8 weeks. And here I also mentioned like what does each symbol represent. So if you see the this arrow, it describes the task duration. And if you see this icon, it describes the milestones which we need to, these are the major milestones which we need to get in our project. So in this project, I have 4 major milestones, if you can say. And the first major milestone was to implement the user authentication and setting the developer environment. So we need to complete by end of week 3. So whatever, like even if there is any delays or errors or something, the team members need to make sure that it need to be completed by week 3. So coming to my second milestone, it was displaying data on front end by pulling data from APIs and also adding search functionality. So these need to be completed by week 5. And then coming to my third milestone, here we need to build the backend part. And coming to the last milestone was to complete overall project and we need to deploy the application. So then followed conclusion. So in conclusion, so these Gantt charts is a visual representation of project sequence of tasks. And from these, like project manager can understand and communicate well what's the project is, like what's the task need to be completed to the team members or else stakeholders. So these we need to make sure that project timeline are dynamic, and also it need to be adjusted throughout the project life cycle. And we also need to make sure that whatever project timeline we are preparing, that should be like achievable and realistic. It's not like completing a whole task in one day. Like it should be realistic. And then flexibility and regular monitoring are crucial to ensure successful project execution. So thank you. I'm open to questions. If you have any questions, please ask.
Okay, so I hope your presentation is done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so good job on the presentation, I would say. Okay, it was quick and short, but it had a lot of good information, but it can be more in depth. Your overall story can be improved, and you were also reading some of the parts from the presentation itself. So work on your explanation skill, I would say. Overall
Okay.
explanation skill can be improved, and also the overall content of your presentation can also be improved. You have good content, but it can be more in depth, right?
Okay, sir.
And also try to reduce the amount of text you have in your presentation. Try to make it point wise so that it is more readable and it is more easy to understand what is going on, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Akhila. So we'll move on to Sivin. You can stop this.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, sir. I'm audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay.
Can you tell me the name of your task?
So my task is like wireframing and prototyping.
Okay, you are.
UI design.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. Sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, so good evening, sir. I'm Sivin Vijay. So I'll be presenting on topic wireframing and prototyping. So let's first see what is wireframing and prototyping, just a brief idea. So wireframing is basically the visual presentation of blueprint of website or application. And prototyping is creating an interactive and functional representation of a website or application. So coming to the, okay, so these are the contents that I'll be going to discuss today. One first is the introduction to stock market web application, just a brief idea of what a stock market and what its purpose is. Then I'll be discussing the HTML code. I'll be giving the explanation of the HTML code, the CSS code, and we'll be discussing some points on the UI's best practices. And also I'll be demonstrating the web website of that stock market application. So let's see what a stock market web application is. So it is a software platform designed to provide users with access to real-time financial information and tools related to the stock market. It provides a platform where the users can invest or trade, and it provides them with a lot of technical, a lot of tools for the technical analysis to do the investments and trades. And the main purpose is to assist the investors and traders in making informed decisions about buying, selling, and managing stocks and other financial instruments. Next, I'll be discussing the HTML code. So let me share the other screen. So here you can see, sir, is the code visible, sir?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So this is the code, HTML code. This the code which comes in the body part mainly contains all the HTML part. So inside the header, you can see there's a division given. So the class name is given as logo. The class name is mainly given so that we can edit it. We can give some specific properties using the CSS code. And you can see inside the division for the logo part, we have the image source. So this image tag helps us in adding the image. And we have also created a nav bar here using the nav tag, and UL represents the unordered list, and LI represents the different lists which come under the unordered list. So this represents various options like home, stocks, portfolio, etc. And coming to the next division, which is the class container, and it contains another class, market indices, and it represents the it shows it provides a space to give information on the market indices. And we have another class called index. It contains Nifty 50 and Sensex. So we can see here that we have given class name index for both this division and this division, because we need the same properties for this Nifty 50 details and Sensex details. So once we edit the index part in CSS code, we will get the same properties for both of these. So coming to next division, we have the user info. There we can say welcome John Doe, which is who is the user, his name will be shown here, and the account balance is given. And we have given another class for CTA buttons. So this A is the anchor tag. It contains a link to other page. Like if this creates a button, and if we press the button, it will take us to another page. So buy stocks and sell stocks are the two buttons that we provide here. And we have given this class CTA buttons so that we can give properties use the CSS code. Next, the same way we will have another division with the trending stocks. So here also we will create this H2 represents the heading tag. So it varies from H1 to H6, varying from size. Like from H1 to H6, the size of the text decreases. So we have another class like division, class equal to stock. So it contains the image of this particular stock, which comes under the trending stock. And we have three such stocks like Reliance, Tata Consultancies, and HDFC Bank. These all have the same properties because all these contains the class name stock. So it will have the same properties if we edit under CSS. Next, coming to the footer, we have another unordered list with privacy policy, terms of services, and contact us. So this is the HTML part of the code. And if we don't give the CSS code, we will have this output for the given code of HTML. So you can see like stock market web application logo here. This is because we have given the source of the image here. You can see under the logo part, we have given the source as logo.png. Since this image is not present in my computer, it is showing the alternative like stock market web application logo here. And you can see all those things comes vertically downwards, which we have given. All the buttons like home, stock, portfolio, etc. And this is the market indices. And this is how it looks when we only use the HTML code. Now coming back to my presentation. So here you can see that there's the doc type HTML in our code. So this doc type informs the web browser that the document is written in HTML. So it endures that the web browser renders the document correctly. Also, inside the head section, you can see meta character set UTF-8. So it specifies the character encoding and also the title tag, which defines the title of web page. And head section may also contain link tags. So it gives reference to the external CSS style sheet. And the important part is that the head section does not contain visible contents on web page. It will just create the web page, and the rest everything comes under the body part. Now, so inside the body part, as I have said, it has this H1 tag which represents the heading, and it varies from H1 to H6 depending on the size you want. You can use the tags. Next, P tag represents the paragraph, and image tag represents the tag to add the image. And inside that you can see source and alt. So SRC represents source, so it is that it contains the source where the image is being taken from. And also alternative is once the image is not present or it is missing from the given source, this alternative text will be displayed instead of the image. And the main part, most commonly used section tags in head, body part, and section. The difference is that the section indicates that the enclosed content is standalone and distinct section. Now coming to the CSS code explanation. Let me. So here, these are the CSS codes. So CSS codes will be written like inside the head section, and we'll give a style tag, and inside the style tag we'll be giving the CSS code of our for our HTML code, so that we can edit or improve the properties of the code, and the website will look more stylish. So we can give many properties, like here we have given body comma HTML. So this is the properties given to the whole body of the design. So margin is given as 0 and padding is given as 0. Likewise, we have given for the body alone, we have given the font family to be used. Now this is like the body part will contain the font family Arial, sans serif. Now, if you want to change the font of any other division, we can use the class name like dot container. So it is a class selector. This dot is a class selector. So this have more priority than this generalized CSS code. So this dot container, if we have used like another font family there, so inside this container part, the one which falls under this container class will have that particular font which we have given. Similarly, we can see different things like dot index value. So inside this class, the font size will be 28 pixel, font weight will be bold, and the color will be this particular color. Likewise, we have given all our CSS codes here, and we have edited all the classes which we have created in the HTML. Here we have created many classes, no? Like division, class, value change, and all. So we have used these classes and we have edited each class as per our requirements. And this is the final result which we got after adding the CSS commands as well. So here you can see, once we have only used the HTML code, we can see that the buttons were like in vertical manner, like home, stocks, portfolio, like this. So we have edited that. So it comes here, no? Like it comes under the navigation bar, nav unordered list. So here you can see the CSS code. Here inside the CSS code, we can see the nav unordered list is given these properties, like list style is none, margin is 0, display is flex, and this list is given margin right equal to 10 pixels. So this display as flex is given, no? That makes it appear in the horizontal way like this: home, stocks, portfolio, etc. And this color also we have given using the CSS code. And these are the buttons that we have created earlier. So inside the HTML, you can see these are just two buttons like this, and it does not have any property, especially style properties. So once we add this CSS code, we can see that it got a blue box. Inside that there is a hover effect as well. So that is how we make a design more appealing using CSS code. Now, let me explain the importance of CSS in web design. So CSS mainly is, the full form is a cascading style sheet. It is a computer language for laying out and structuring the web pages. So its importance is that it helps in presentation and visual styling. It also have a separation of concerns, like it has a separate coding than HTML, so it helps to make our HTML code precise and concise, and it also increases responsiveness and adaptability of the design, and also it helps in the consistency and branding of the design. Now I'll like to discuss with you the UI best practices. So there are few properties which are UI design best practices. So first one is responsive design. So design should be responsive so that we can use the design in every devices, from a smartphone to a computer screen. So it helps in improved user experience. It also helps in increase the reach and accessibility. So to implement a responsive design, CSS media queries, flexible layouts, fluid images, and adaptive typography are commonly used techniques. Now, next thing is the color theory. Color theory is very important while designing. So the designers use this color wheel to determine the colors, the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. And it helps in the increasing consistency and branding. It also improves the readability and contrast of the content in the design. And emotional response is, this is one of the most important part. So colors can evoke different emotions and create a certain mood or atmosphere. It also has an improvement in the usability and clarity. So by using appropriate color, sorry. So by using appropriate colors, designers can create visually appealing and user-friendly interfaces that engages users and effectively uh, give the information. So I've earlier discussed that there is an emotional response for many colors. So these are the various emotions that different colors possess. The red color possesses passion, love, energy, urgency. Blue color possesses the emotion of calmness, trust, reliability, and all. And yellow has the emotion of happiness, optimism, warmness. Green conveys the emotion of nature, growth, harmony. Orange has the emotion of enthusiasm, creativity, excitement. And black has the emotion of formality, elegance, and all. White shows purity, cleanliness, calmness, and also violet has the luxury, royalty, and creativity. So depending, so we have to, the designer have to make a thorough study on the users so that he can understand who all are using, and depending on that he can select the color theory, select the color theme of the website he is designing. Now coming to the next part, next important property is the typography. Typography is also very important because it increases the readability and legibility, communication and information hierarchy. It also provides consistency and recognition. Here in this image, you can see, like, let the user know where to look first. When we have made the text, like in the second line, where to look first, in a different way, we have changed the color and made it unbold. So it kind of gives attraction that we look into that, like what to do. So there is an importance for the typography here, and also the tone and mood. The different typefaces evoke different emotions. Like here, I have given the example. Like serif fonts convey a sense of tradition, whereas sans serif fonts feels more modern and clean. So typography also plays a more important role. And the next important feature is, or important practice is the spacing. So proper spacing is important for the clarity of the design. So it will make it easier for the user to use the application or website. So it helps in visual clarity and organization, proper readability, focus and emphasis. Like proper spacing can draw attention to specific elements or sections. And next is the responsiveness and flexibility. And then it is the micro interactions and touch targets. The importance of this touch targets is that, like, if we have to provide enough spacing, like nowadays many are using touch pads or smartphones. So the sufficient spacing between the interactive elements such as button or links should be there because it ensures that users can accurately tap on what they want to without accidentally activating the neighboring elements. So the spacing is very important nowadays, especially when we are using a touchpad or smartphones. So next, I'll be demonstrating the web application. I've already demonstrated it while discussing the importance of CSS code, but I'll again just give an example. My website is visible now. Hello.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So this is the web application. So here the logo will be there, and here we have a navigation bar to switch between the home, stocks, portfolio, and all. And market indices have been displayed here, like their current market price and how much they have moved for the day. Like it is shown as green and plus 0.5, like it has an increase in 0.5%. And also here they have given a welcome note to the user, like welcome John Doe, and the account balance is being shown here. And there are two buttons shown, like buy stocks and sell stocks. And also the trending stocks have been displayed at the bottom, and it has been shown like the stock one, stock two, and all. Actually, the images should be there, but as I have discussed earlier, since the image is not present on the particular source, the alternative has been used, alternative text has been displayed. And at the bottom, we have this privacy policy, contact details, and all. So this is the web application. So as a conclusion, I will say that we have to look into the best practices always, like the typography, color theory, spacing, and all. So the designer should keep that in mind in order to get a more effective and simple design for the application. And also I have discussed the separation of concerns of CSS. So it helps in creating a reduced size HTML code. So this separation allows for more efficient and maintainable code. And also CSS enables designers and developers to make changes to the web design without altering the HTML code. That is a very useful thing. So this is all from my side. So if you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so I hope your presentation and demonstration both are done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, good job on explaining. Okay, I would say the presentation was good. Okay, you did explain the CSS part and HTML part really well. Your presentation was well created, but you need to work on your overall project demonstration, right? See, the thing is, when you are doing the project demonstration, you are just explaining the HTML and CSS code plainly, right? So, and see, you are explaining it through the GitHub, right? So there is one part where you have your code and other part is just blank, right? It is just white screen on the right side, and on the left side you have all the code well formatted. So what you can do is, on the right side you can open your overall design and then explain it through the design, right? So
Okay,
in the
okay.
HTML part, you have whatever you have written. You can say, I have done this thing using the h1 tag, or I was able to achieve this thing using the, let us say, some other element, right? And then you can show it in the code itself, right? When you are explaining the HTML part, it wasn't like, connecting really well, because there was just code, right? So I don't think
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of people were able to visualize what you were trying to explain. Okay. And second thing is also same for the CSS, and the final demonstration of the formatted code, the website that you have, where you have applied the CSS and everything, that was quite rushed. Okay, so work on your overall project demonstration part. See, in front end, what the thing is, you need to explain your code and whatever your idea was through the design, right? So whatever design you have created or whatever the button was, you need to see that this is my button and how I was able to achieve this design. Then you can show the HTML code and you can explain how the different properties are helping you achieve that, right? So for the text color, you will use the color property. For the background color, you use the background color property, right? And for transition, you will use different transition. So you need to explain it with respect to the overall design itself. Okay. Your
Okay, sir.
code and design were like, it looked, it didn't like, look, what I can say, connected, right? You explained the code, but overall design was not really well explained. Okay.
Okay,
But the
sir. I will
CSS
listen.
part in your PPT, that was really well explained. I liked it. The content was great. Okay. So keep up with that one, but work on your project demonstration. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sivin. So we'll move
Thank you, sir.
to Virendra. Yeah, Virendra. Can you tell me the name of your task and also please turn your camera?
Yes, sir. It is my screen is visible.
Yeah, it is visible.
So, uh, my name is Virendra Kumar, and I am from
Please turn
IIT.
your cam on, Virendra. What is the name of your task?
Overview of Project Synopsis.
Okay, that will see. Virendra Kumar, over your project, sir. Is your email 2020mcb1254?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start.
My name is Virendra Kumar, and I am from IIT Robot. I am from web developer group. So, my task is about the real-time stock market data web application. So, here is the agenda of this presentation: requirements, introduction, tools and techniques that I have used in my web application, design of the project, working of project, how my project work, and conclusions and lab demo. So basically, first I like to share some that why we need that type of web application. In the corporate world, if anyone wants to invest his or her money, so they wants to the proper knowledge of the company stocks of the company, that what are the closing price of the stocks, and beginning of sorry, starting price of the stocks, and what are the amount of stocks available. So in if the people will know about these information about any stocks of any company, so they can invest their money in the proper way. So I have designed this project. The requirements, what are the requirements that we need to make this project? So display real-time stock market data in easy to understand format. Means for the people it is very necessary that the data, what are the data available, information available, that should be also easy to understand for the all people, so that they can understand what are the scenario of the information or data stocks. So and the responsive design means people can see this web application in any device. And the user authentication system, this is the privacy of the user. So this is the introduction part, like the what is about my real time stock this web application. So real time stock market web application that provides real time data about the stocks of any company. So on this platform, user can find the following details about the stock, like opening and closing price of the stocks user can find, and the lowest and highest price of the stock, what are the lowest price of the stocks and highest price, volume of the stock, amount of the stocks available. So this platform provides all the information with graph visualization. Tools and technique that I have used in this project. Front end, for the front end part, I have used React.js, and back end part Express Node.js and Express.js. Authentication, for the authentication part, JWT and Node Mailer I will. And for the storing data, I have used database MongoDB, and API is the Vantage API I have used for the collecting the stocks data. So how my design looks? It looks like this. Let me show my demonstration before this. So this is the web user interface part of my web application. This is look like this. here login page and sign up page is there. If anyone user wants to use this application, first he should have sign up in this. So I have already signed up, so I will log in here. Suppose I enter my email. And here the password. Suppose if user does not exist, then this will show user does not exist. So first the user should sign up. So here it is showing login successfully. So before this come, user will get an verification code on his email. So after that he will verify his email. After that this page will open. Here this is the part that I have shown in my PPT. This is the part. Here search for the company. This is the column where we will search for the company, and that the company name result will here show. Like suppose I will search for any company, TCS company or anything, then this will show the name of company. If we then people can search about the stock of the company here. So this is the searching part, and after that if people click on the company name, then this type of the bar will show for the chart. This will show the user. So here we can see that this green line shows the closing price of the stock, and this red line shows the opening price of the stock. So from this and from this is the interval of the year. So people can find the what are the closing year ending starting price of the stock. So how this is the part how our web application works. First I have showed that initially we have to log in here, user account, sign up part is there, and then user account login. After login, authentic people will get the email verification. Then for company, searching for the company that I have showed in my demonstration part. Then graph visualization, how the graph will be visible. Okay. So this is the conclusion part of my presentation. In this project, what I have created, this is the conclusion part. I have created the login page, and then after that searching of the companies, and then graph visualization. And so in this overall project, my main challenge was handling the cost error and working with the cookies used for user authentication. So that was the most difficult part for me. These are the references from where I have learned the things, like to learn the React routers. I have used this reference, and then for the Alpha Vintage API I have used, and for the Express.js. So these are the references that I have used. Thank you, sir. If you have any question, then feel free to ask.
Okay, so I hope your presentation and demonstration are done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so good job on the presentation, I would say. Well, you have your overall presentation is really great. Okay, your demonstration was also well built. You have demonstration, but it can be improved. Yeah, I will take it as a prototype. Okay, but overall application can be improved. So which is good thing. Okay, you did show me your overall demonstration of prototype. So there is no need for, I would say, documentation, but it would have been great if you had documented it correctly. Okay. And second thing is, see, you need to work on your overall story. Okay. See, your flow is good, but you need to work on your overall story, right? Other than that, it was okay, I would say. Your expression is good, but just like, you need more practice. Okay. Try practicing more. What I would recommend is try to make a script of what you are going to say. Then it will be like, much more smoother, and you will be able to explain it more clearly and more easily. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
next time try doing that, you will certainly improve. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. So
Thank you, sir.
yeah, thank you. So maybe new intern from 4th July batch. Okay, Nidhi, when your task is completed, only then you can click on schedule task. Okay, then your task will be scheduled and you will get a date. So let us say you got a date of Saturday, Sunday, or Monday when there are no presentation. You can give your presentation on the next meeting. So let us say if you got the date of 9th, then you can give your presentation on so 9th is Sunday, right? So you can give it on 11th, that is Tuesday. That is new next meeting. Okay. And there are two dates. There is one deadline for your task completion and other is your actual date of presentation. You will get that date when you click on the schedule presentation button. But make sure you are only clicking on schedule presentation button when your PPT is ready, as well as when you are ready for the presentation. So that if you get scheduled on the same day or the next day, you are able to deliver it on the deadline, right? So you can ask in the technical support chat and just follow what they are saying. Okay. Okay, then Vijay.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Can you tell me the name of your task?
Excellent. Project overview, sir.
You can start.
Sir, is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, it is visible.
So, yeah. So, hello everybody. My name is c.vijay. The project given for me is to develop the Python, stock screener application using Python. But the task which was given was to prepare the overview of the project. I am from Python programming domain. So let's get into it. Start with. Yeah, here are the contents of this PPT. First is project overview, then the project scope, then the timeline, then planning and requirement gathering, API integration and data retrieval, algorithm development and implementation, user interface design and implementation, testing and development. Then we'll go to the conclusion and reference part. And if you have any questions, you might ask at the end of the PPT. Yeah, so the project overview. My project revolves around the development of stock screen application using Python programming. In this application, I will use the filter stocks based on like price to earnings ratio, dividend yield, and market capitalization. This application will use financial data APIs to retrieve real-time data and will provide a user-friendly interface for filtering stocks. So let's get to know about what is price to earn ratio. Basically, price to earn ratio is the measure to the price investors are willing to pay for each dollar of earnings generated by a company. Let's say a company has a market price per share of $50 and its earnings per share for that last year were $5. So the ratio would be $10. That means the investors are willing to pay 10 times the earnings per share for the company stock. And the dividend yield. So dividend yield is basically the annual payment as a percentage of the stock's current market price. Let's say a company A pays an annual dividend of $2 per share, while company B pays an annual dividend of $3 per share. If both companies have a current market price per share of $50, company A would have dividend yield of 4% and the company B would have dividend yield of 6%. So here, if the percentage of yield is high, we'll get high return on the investment. And the third one is the market capitalization, which is the measure of company's total market value. And this is the timeline which I will be doing my project work in week 1 and 2. We'll just gather the information regarding the stock screener application, and in week 3 and 4 we will know about the API integration, how to do it, and for data retrieval. In week 5 and 6 we will implement the code and the development of the application, and in week 7 and 8 we will create the user interface, which will be which helps the user and the application to get interactive. And in week 9 and 10 we will test our application, deploy it. So the first one is the requirement gathering. So for the requirement gathering, we have researched for various resources to gather the needs and expectations of the user. given here are the few of the requirements from our stakeholders, which is fast and reliable stock data retrieval, flexibility to filter stocks based on different financial metrics like price to earn ratio, dividend yield, and market capitalization, user-friendly interaction so that the user can understand what's happening in the application, the ability to save and export filter stocks lists. If the user wants to export the information regarding a particular company, he can store that information in a file and get downloaded the information in his laptop and real-time updates and alerts for significant changes in the stock data. And for API integration data retrieval, we will integrate with the financial data APIs to retrieve real-time data for the stocks. And we will research and identify the appropriate APIs that can provide the required data and create scripts to fetch the information. We can also create a database to store the data for easy retrieval and manipulation. So here, algorithm development and implementation. We will develop algorithm to filter these stocks based on user criteria such as price to earn ratio, dividend yield, and market capitalization, as I have told earlier. We will also create a custom filter that allows user to filter stocks based on their own criteria. Like there are different kind of companies, so the few users might prefer the stocks in technology or stocks in like petrol companies or industries like that. We will implement the algorithm in Python and test them thoroughly to ensure they provide accurate results. So user interface design and implementation. We will design a user-friendly interface for the application that allows user to easily filter stocks based on the requirement. We will use Python GUI library such as tkinter or PyQt to implement the interface. We will also integrate the interface with the backend functionality to ensure that user can see the filtered results in the real time. Testing and deployment. So we will test the application thoroughly to ensure that that it is bug free and meets the user requirements. We can also develop a scenario like beta testing, in which our employees will test the current application and check if there is any error in the application while using stock screener. And then after all these checks are done, we will then deploy the application on cloud-based host service such as AWS or Heroku so that it can be accessed by the users. So in conclusion, the development of soft screen application in Python is a challenging project that requires a strong understanding of financial data APIs, algorithms, and user interface design. By the following timeline, which has been shown you before, if we follow that timeline, we can be sure that we will meet the final requirements for this project to be successful. And these are the references which I have used to understand understand our project, which helped me to understand the project, how this stock screener works and everything. So if you have any questions, you can contact me through mail. And thank you. So,
Okay, so I hope you are done with your presentation.
yes, sir.
Okay. See, first of all, your flow was improved from last time. Okay, I did tell you to work on your flow, and this time your flow was good. Okay, but it was quite rushed and it was quite short. Okay, for a project like this, it was, I would say it was short, but your overall PPT that you have created, that was really well made. You have improved a lot. You used various diagrams and like, various visuals, which was visually really great to see. Okay, the content was also great. I can just look at it and understand what is going on where we are. So that is a good thing. But you need to work on your overall story as well as actual, like, explanation. Your flow is good, just that you need to work on your explanation. As I said last time, try to make a pitch deck or like, overall script with the good content. It will be,
Sir,
yeah.
actually, I didn't understand by hook. Means when I got the result back through my mail, they said that the hook I got allotted 5 marks and all. So I didn't get the hook part. What?
Okay,
do you
so
mean by
hook
that?
is, so let us say when you are starting your presentation, right? So when you start your presentation, you need to start by giving your overall I would say introduction. After the introduction, there will be a point where you need to catch the attention of your viewers. At first glance, if I don't
Okay.
understand what is going on, I will probably don't follow your entire presentation. Right? Suppose you are sitting in a lecture and your teacher starts teaching you something and it starts somewhere in the middle, then you will be like, what is going on? Right? You will not be able to follow the entire lecture. Right? But let us say if we start by giving you an example, or let us say if we start by giving you a question, whenever you get a question, your mind start working like, oh, what will be the answer? And then you will realize whenever your teacher asks you a question, you listen it more carefully, because you get a feeling of what if she asks you a question. You will not be able to answer it if you don't
Okay.
understand it. Like, but that is a lecture mentality. But for the presentation, you need something that can grab attention of your viewers, and that thing is what you
Okay.
call a hook. Like, you have hooked your viewers into your presentation. Then the story part is, let us say you are explaining something about a stock screener application. Someone who has never worked with the stocks, they will not be able to understand what is a stock market application. Is that right? So if I say I have a
Yes.
stock, and if I go to any stock market application, you will say there is a numbers like plus 0.0014 or minus 0.0016. Someone who has never seen it, they will be like, what is this? Like, it is 0.0014. What does that even mean? Right? Or let us say there is a red sign or green sign. What does that even mean? Right? So you have to understand, you have to make them understand what is going on and how you are trying to achieve it. Whatever is it, that is giving context based on your task. That will help you build your overall grounds of your presentation, so that when people are listening to you, they can easily follow your entire presentation. And the story part also includes what example you are taking, if those examples are easy to follow. Right? So if I take, and let us say I'm taking an example of your, let us say your your lecture, like in a college lecture, your teacher is giving you a lecture on, let us say, computer architecture, and he is like teaching you how various bus and various RAM and registers are working. At first glance, you will probably never understand, right? But if we start teaching you while giving you simple examples, or let us say if I am explaining about HTML and CSS, and let us say I have this book, right? So in this book, I have two columns. Okay. In first column, I am writing name of intern and giving score, right? But in the same page only, I have one main column, and then I have three different columns, and then I have another section. To achieve that on a web page, what do I need to do? You will start thinking, okay, so I can just simply write it, right? But when you write it and when you render it on the front end, you will see that it is not working. The words that you have written, they will just be rendered without any kind of formatting. Then you will realize, okay, I need some kind of element. What element I need? Okay, there is an H tag in HTML which will make my text as a highlighted format, right? In a heading format. Basically, I can use CSS to style my element however I want, right? So this kind of simple examples make you understand overall your project. Also, the code will become much easier for your viewers to understand, because the thing is, why we are going for the simplicity is that you are from Python team, I am from web development team, right? So I may not know Python, or let us say there is someone from the cloud computing group. He may not be really exposed to the coding in general. He has worked on the cloud, or let us say installation really well, right? But he's not really good at coding. Then how he will be really hard to follow your entire thing, right? So that is why we also recommend you to use various flowcharts to explain the overall architecture or overall working of your code, so that it becomes much easier, right? So that is your overall hook and story. If you are able to grab attention, if you are able to use simple examples, or if you are following a predefined what I can say, a play in a story, there is a play. Yeah, so that will be much easier for your viewers to understand, right? And your PPT scores are basically how well your PPT is formatted, what is the overall content, as well as if your PPT is even, I would say, going well with your overall presentation. If you are explaining something about, let us say, Python, but there is nothing about Python, then if I am like, let us say I got lost somewhere, and if I look at your PPT, I will not be able to follow up, right? So the PPT is there so that I can read and then I can follow up again from where you are, right? And your communication is basically how well you have communicated with your overall Scrum manager, as well as how well you are like, presenting yourself, as well as what is your previous behavior during this task. That will be also taken in consideration for QA. And basically conclusion is like, if your presentation was good enough to like, if I get some question and I got my answer in the presentation itself, that will be a good thing, right? So, and also what is your conclusion if you are concluding everything? If you are making a small summary so that it gets repeated and people are able to understand your presentation really well, but it should be quick. It should not look like it is being repeated, right? We also look at that, and your demo is basically how your project was demonstrated. But if your demo asks you to give a presentation, then you will get score on based on what your presentation is. And your scores are basically 6 is average, 7 is above average, 8 is 100%, and 9 is excellent, and 10 is brilliant. Okay. So if you get 5, that means you need to work on it, and then you will improve, right? I hope this clears up the things, right?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So if you have any question, you can ask me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you, Vijay. Okay, so we'll move on to Shirisha Bansal.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay. Can you give me the email instruction?
I would like to present a presentation on the
Can you provide your email?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
bansalshirisha@gmail.com. BAN.
Okay, so is your task name plotting line chart with moving average and volume indicator?
I was getting errors in that, but I haven't presented a few tasks before that as well. So I was thinking I'll present the overview of the stock application.
Oh, wait, let me check. Overview of Project Synopsis, right? Bansal
Yes, sir.
gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can start.
In this presentation, I would like to show the introduction and the primary
Sorry
goals,
to interrupt,
features.
but your PPT is not shared.
Oh, sorry.
Please share and start again.
So is the screen visible now?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So I've created a presentation on the overview of the project's synopsis regarding the stock trading application. In this, I have given the key features I'm going to use: the introduction, the primary goal and user experiences, and the payment and currency options, customizability and integration. As we all know, a stock trading application is an application which allows users to buy and sell stocks in real time using a user-friendly interface. For example, the stocks of any company which is available on that application, we can also contribute and purchase some amount of that company's shares. So the major shareholders, mostly the company. So that is how they own, like they own the major shares, but we get to own some part of it by buying and selling stocks. And there are two major platforms, which are National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange, used for that, which are the same through, which keep the price the same throughout India. And the primary goal and user experiences. The primary goal of stock trading application is to provide users with a convenient way to trade stocks online. The application allows users to access real-time stock market data, view their portfolio, and execute trades instantly. The application is designed to be highly responsive, scalable, and secure, ensuring that users have seamless trading experience. We also want that every moment the changing price should be visible to us. So we want that the database is connected to the stock exchange data, and we can see the change in the prices instantly on the app we are about to create. The application includes several key features such as real-time stock codes, advanced charting tools, news alerts, and customized watch lists. Users can create personalized watch lists to track specific stocks and receive alerts when those stocks reach certain price levels. Now, since the stock prices keep changing in every instant, we cannot just keep looking at the screen 24/7 to see when the price will go above 70 or below 70. So we can insert the price which we want. So the application will alert us that, okay, the price which you were looking for has come. So you can take the action you want, like buy or sell with that stock. And payment and currency options. The application is integrated with various payment gateways to ensure seamless and secure transactions. Users can fund their accounts using various payment methods such as credit cards, debit cards, wire transfers, and online wallets. The application also supports multiple currencies, making it easy for users to trade stocks globally. In this, we want all the payment methods to be connected to our application so that users can find ease in making payments and withdrawing their money after they have sold the stocks. And we also want application to support multiple currencies so that people not only from India but all around the world, wherever the site is available, can trade on it without any inconvenience. Customizability and integration. The stock trading application is designed to be highly customizable, allowing financial institutions to tailor the platform to their specific needs. The application can be easily integrated with existing trading platforms, risk management tools, and other financial software systems. We want our application to be easily integrated with other existing platforms. For example, if I want to send shares, like if my father wants to gift me shares, but he has shares in another platform, then he can connect with my platform and he can gift those shares to me. And we also want that we can see the prices of our stocks in various devices and not have to worry. So the conclusion is the stock trading application is a powerful and versatile platform that provides users with a convenient and secure way to trade stocks online. It is built using Java, ensuring that it is highly responsive, scalable, and secure. The application is designed to be highly customizable, making it suitable for use by financial institutions of all sizes. These are the references which I have used. And thank you.
Okay. See, first of all, your presentation slides were not changing. Okay, it changed from 1 and 2, and then it stopped. Okay, and second of all, it looked like you were just reading from the slides, so you need to work on your overall presentation. Okay, what I would say is, do your presentation again because your slides were really not changing. Okay, I thought you were just explaining the outline because you have everything like listed here. So if you would, you can do the presentation again.
I can do other presentations tomorrow if you could just mark this one.
See, it is, I can mark it. Okay, I can also be used.
I have the PPT. I don't know why my slides weren't changing.
Yeah, okay, that is okay, but it was quite short. Okay. Okay, sure, no problem, but work on your overall presentations, please. Okay. And also try to be more in-depth about
So
it.
I haven't been able to give some past presentations. Is it possible that I can give an other older presentation right now?
Yeah, sure, you can do that. Can you tell me the name of that topic?
It's a Spring Web application using Spring Boot.
Spring Web application. So you are scheduled.
That's quite old.
Okay, wait. Let me see if you are scheduled for it. So you are scheduled for software development life cycle and over your project synopsis, implement security, developing RESTful website web services. Is that it?
Okay.
Developing a RESTful web service.
No, before that, there was a Spring Web application.
Introduction to Spring Boot.
Yes. Spring Web
Yeah,
application, the first web application without RESTful web services.
yeah, introduction to Spring Framework, right? Yeah, so you are not actually scheduled for it. You have to talk to technical support chat, see what can be done. Okay, you are currently scheduled for RESTful web service and plotting line chart, as well as reading CSV historical data and
Okay.
SDLC and implement security.
Okay, so I'll talk to the technical support and maybe give the presentation on that tomorrow.
Yeah,
So have you marked this presentation which I gave just now?
yeah, sure.
Okay, then I won't redo this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shirisha. And we'll move on to Nikita Srivastava.
Sir, am I audible and visible?
Yeah.
Just a second.
Can you tell me the name of your task?
Sir, overview of the project synopsis.
Yeah, you can start.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, sir, can I start now?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nikita Srivastava, and I'm here to give my presentation on the topic developing a stock screener application in Python, and my task is overview of the project synopsis. I'm from Python programming group. So today, what I will be sharing with you all is what is a stock screener, its introduction, importance of stock screening, project objectives, technology used, architectural overview, key features of the stock screener application, benefits of stock screener application, future enhancements, code, and finally its output, and then the conclusion. My mother is a housewife. Since I was little, she has always taught me these brilliant money management skills and always advised me to invest in one thing or the another. I could always sense that one way or the another, she's fascinated about stocks and trading, but she never really invested. When I recently told her that I'm making a stock screener, she was excited. Even though she's a beginner, she can easily use my stock screener, and so can any one of you, from a beginner to a professional. Suppose you are an investor and you want to invest your money. So you have certain criteria like so different criteria like price range, how much money you want to invest, or the earning you will be getting at the end. So if you do this task manually by searching large variety of stocks and then writing down the list, it will be a time consuming task. But if you do this with the help of a stock screener, then this will be done within a few seconds. You just need to put the filters according to your criteria, and then you will get the list of all the stocks that will meet your requirements. So coming towards the introduction, what is basically a stock screener? A stock screener is a tool used by investors and traders to filter and analyze stocks based on specific criteria or parameters. It allows the users to screen through a large universe of stocks and narrow down their search to find stocks that meet their investment requirement or preferences. The stock screener typically operates on a database of stocks and allows users to define their criteria based on various factors like price, market capitalization, dividend yield, volume, sector, and much more. Users can use both quantitative as well as qualitative parameters to refine their search. So coming towards the importance of stock screening. Stock screener is important for us in many ways as it helps in efficient analysis, identifying investment opportunities, objective decision making. Its main feature is its customization, risk management, portfolio diversification, and monitoring marketing trends. So coming towards the objective of my project, the objective of my project is as follows. First, we will develop a stock screener in Python. It helps enable users to filter and analyze stocks, provide an intuitive and user-friendly interface, implement real-time data updates and stock screening capabilities, ensure the application scalability and performances. So the technology used are Python language, Pandas library for data visualization, NumPy library for numerical computations, Matplot library and Seaborn library for data visualization, and GUI frameworks like Tkinter or PyQt for user interface, and data sources like API, CSV file, and web scraping. So coming towards the architectural overview of this project, we first have data collection. In data collection, the application retrieves the stock data from various sources such as API or web scraping. Now comes the data processing part. In data processing, the retrieved data is cleaned, transformed, and then prepared for analysis. Then comes the screening algorithm part. We apply the criteria used to filter stocks based on user-defined parameters. Then comes the user interface. In user interface, we use GUI, graphical user interface, through which users can interact with the application, and then finally the data visualization. In data visualization, tools and techniques are used to generate mindful visual representation of the screen stocks. So what are the key features of my project? The key features of this project are user authentication and profile management, customizable stock screening criteria, real-time stock data updates, data visualization, exporting and saving filter results, historical data analysis capabilities, and then alerts and notification for certain stock events. So coming towards the benefits of this stock screener, we have time saving. The stock screener automatically saves the time and efforts of the users. Efficient analysis. This application provides quick and accurate analysis of large volumes of stock data. Objective decision making. Here the users can define their own screening criteria and tailor the application according to their investment preferences. Then comes the customization. In customization, the user can customize the program according to themselves. They can give different criteria according to which they need to analyze the stock. Improved portfolio performance. Here, it helps the user to improve their portfolio performances. Then the future enhancements of the stock screener. It helps in integration with additional data sources and APIs, advanced screening algorithms and machine learning techniques, mobile application development, social media sentiment analysis, portfolio management and tracking features, and integration with the trading platform. So now I will explain my code. Here I have imported different libraries. As you can see, I have imported datetime library for getting the information of date and time, pandas library for data visualization. Here we have imported Wireframing. Wireframing is basically Yahoo Finance, which gives us the finance information. Then we have used Tkinter for graphical user interface. Okay, so now you can see that this. This is the most important data Excel file that we will be using in our code. It has different columns. This is the symbol column and this is the RS rating column. Symbol column contains different stock symbols which the users will be using, and RS rating is the relative strength rating, which gives the relative strength of the following stock symbols. This is an important Excel file because this file is used to iterate through the code to check our stocks. Okay, now we have different conditions in our code. Like I've told before that user can give their condition according to their preferences. So here I have 8 conditions. First condition is current price should be greater than 150 moving average and 200 moving average. Second condition is 150 moving average should be greater than 200 moving average. Now, third condition is 200 moving average should be trending up at least 1 month. Ideally, it should be 4 to 5 months. Fourth condition is 50 moving average should be greater than 150 and 200 moving average. Fifth condition is current price should be greater than 50 moving average. Sixth condition is current price is at least 30% above 52 weeks low. And seventh condition is current price is within 25% of 52 weeks low. Then finally, the eighth condition is IBD RS rating should be greater than 70, and the more the better. So after running this code, we get this output. We get this output from the data sheet that I have shown here. Here we have different symbols and different rating and other columns, right? So what is happening here that the code which we have given different criterias, it iterate through that data Excel file, and as you can see these symbols in output, it is iterating here and we get this output. These 3 output satisfy the conditions that we have given in our code with the following RS rating: 50-day moving average, 150-day moving average, 200-day moving average, 52 weeks low and 52 weeks high. Now coming towards the conclusion part. A stock screener is a valuable tool that helps investors streamline the stocks, analyze processes, identify suitable stocks, and support their investment decision making. Stock screeners are especially useful for investors who follow specific investment strategies or have predefined criteria for selecting the stocks. If you have any question, you can ask me. These are the references that I have used. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can contact me. I have given the detail below. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope the presentation is done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, really great presentation. Your story was really much better this time. Also, the hook was also good. Okay. Because your story was like that it was eye-catching, right? So people were able to, I believe, they listened to it. And again, your overall explanation was good. Okay, code explanation was also good. It was a high-level explanation. Okay, it was from it wasn't really in depth, but it was well explained. We were able to understand what is going on actually. Okay.
Yes,
Also, going back and forth between actual data set and actual explanation was good enough. It was well explained. I believe a lot of people were able to understand what is going on. Also, the outputs were explained, but I believe they were quite rushed. Okay. Your
Yes.
conclusion will also look quite rushed. It can be like, improved, but it was good enough. Okay. So
Thank you, sir.
overall, I would say work on your flow. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
would make your overall presentation experience much better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Nidhi. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikita. Yeah, sure. Okay. So I believe still Nidhi is Singh and Gopal are remaining. So it is already 9:04. We will not be able to have any more presentation for today. So I will take your presentation tomorrow. Okay, you can join at 7. I will start by Nidhi Singh and then I will go to Gopal. And then we'll start with all the people who will be available tomorrow. Right. So thank you for joining. We'll end the session here. We'll continue tomorrow. Right? So Okay, I believe we can stop. Thank you.